Jean-Claude Trichet, your former ECB president, 2 years ago you said in a speech in Zurich that the low interest rate that makes you worry a little bit. Now we're 2 years later, interest rates are still low, they will probably remain low. What's going on?
Well, first of all, I have to say that, of course, when you have very, very low interest rates or zero interest rates, which is the case still in all the advanced major economies, you are creating necessarily temptation of bubbles in various segments of markets. So this is an avoidable consequence of these very, very low rates. That being said, these very low rates are there for a reason. We clearly have a level of inflation in all the advanced economy, which is below their definition of price stability. It's particularly the case in Europe, but it's the case also in Japan, in the US and in the UK. And so one can understand that the central banks are legitimate in having these very low interest rates, and also are legitimate with other weaponry that are of a non-conventional nature. But it would be unrealistic not to take into account that this has necessarily adverse consequences, and that we have to be very lucid and conscious of that.
In 2008 or 2007, when the crisis broke out, you were in power at the ECB in Frankfurt. Would you have thought at the time that the crisis will last so long?
I think it was clear from the very beginning of the crisis, the subprime crisis and all the big issues that we had in 2007 already, before the Lehman Brothers bankruptcy. We had to engage in the ECB in August 2007 in the unlimited supply of liquidity at fixed rate, which was a very, very new, non-conventional weaponry that we had to invent on the spot, if I may. So this idea that there was something very big that was coming on the advanced economy was clear at the time. And of course, when we had the bankruptcy of Lehman Brothers, it was absolutely clear that we had the worst crisis, the worst financial crisis since World War II, and in my opinion could have been the worst crisis, financial crisis, since World War I, namely the threat of a big depression in the advanced economy was there. So when you have events of that dimension, it would be totally naive to think that you settle the matter in a few years. As a matter of fact, we still are digesting all the imbalances and the aberrant functioning of the economy, both, I would say, the financial economy and the real economy in the advanced economy that accumulated during the years before 2007, 2008. We are still, that's absolutely clear, in the shadow of this very, very aberrant situation in which we were in 2007, 2008. And we still have a lot of hard work to do to get out of it, to clean the house, put the house in order, both in the private sector and in the public sector, and permit, if I may, our economy to function correctly.
Some people say the Eurozone is or in deflation. What would you say to this?
No, the Eurozone is not in deflation.
Or practically in a deflation.
There is a threat of uncurring of inflation expectations if we stay at a very low level of inflation for a long period of time. That's the problem. But very fortunately, we are not at the moment I am speaking in deflation at the level of the euro area as a whole. In some countries, you have very, very low inflation or even negative inflation. But in my opinion, this was not bad. This was probably good because it was in those countries that had lost a lot of competitiveness, cost competitiveness, and had to regain cost competitiveness. And you regain cost competitiveness in working on your unit labor cost, having very low unit labor cost or decreasing unit labor cost, which has been the case in Ireland, for instance, or in Greece. And it was overdue because they had increased unit labor cost considerably before. Again, the main problem of the euro area today is that too low inflation for too long might uncur inflation expectation. And there you might have the real problem of deflation at the level of the euro area as a whole, with all the bad consequences. But it's not the case, fortunately.
To fight the deflation risk in Europe and the weakness of the economy, the ECB might want to buy government bonds already next year. How high is the probability that the ECB will do that?
Well, this is the decision of the Governing Council. The Governing Council is very wise, and all the decisions which were taken, if I may, in my time, and in the Mario Draghi presidency, seems to me to be wise, to be in line with the mandate of the central bank, which is price stability, no inflation, no deflation, and is also fully in line with the treaty. So we will see what the Governing Council decides. As far as I am concerned, my remark would be the following. I am amazed to see that seen from the new hemisphere, say, the weaponry, the present weaponry of the ECB is underestimated because it is not the way the Fed operates. The New York market participants are not understanding that there is in Europe a liquidity insurance which is given by the central bank. That does not exist in the US. In Europe, all commercial banks have unlimited access to the liquidity at fixed rate. And this is the concept which we introduced in 2007, generalized in 2008, and is promised by the central bank, by the Governing Council today, up to October 2016. So all the liquidity possible is there. The commercial banks have only to ask for it, and they get it. There is a second liquidity insurance, which is very important, very well known, I have to say, in Europe, which is the OMT. OMT means liquidity insurance for the treasuries that would have problems and, of course, would apply appropriate conditionality. The OMT is considered, particularly in Germany, an enormous issue. I trust the ECB was right in deciding OMT, which has worked. But to neglect it and to forget that there is also a liquidity insurance is probably not understanding fully how Europe operates. And of course, on top of that, Europe, the ECB has already decided that it's good and right to purchase private tradable securities, ABS and covered bonds, and perhaps tomorrow we will see other private tradable securities. All this is, in my opinion, well targeted, very important, and very powerful, because interest rates are much lower in Europe than in the US.
Still, some people say, and experts in the market say that the ECB is losing credibility as the measures it takes, or it has taken the last couple of years, they are losing effect. What would you reply?
No, I would say, on the contrary, that the measure that the ECB took have been essential, are still essential. But the ECB, any central bank, cannot substitute to governments, cannot substitute to parliament, cannot substitute to European institutions. And I said cannot. I should have said should not, of course, because, and it's true for the US as well as for Japan or the UK or Europe, the euro area. If you are telling governments and parliaments, and also the private sector, that you do the job in their place, you're only paving the way for future difficulty. They have to put their house in order. That is absolutely essential. You see that in Japan recently as well as in all other countries. So the central bank is right to do all what it can, but to trust that it has a magic wand is, of course, wrong. The magic wand does not exist. What exists is the hard work which has to be done by government, parliament, and the private sector to put their house in order.